Hi everyone, this is Chase the Channel. My name is Kirill and we talk about watches here. Today we have an Orient released specifically for the Japanese domestic market. The incredibly colorful dial conveys the shades of the 1970s, retro style and immediately two color options. Blue color in black casing and steel. I don't even know what to call the color of this dial. It definitely can't be described in one word. You can purchase these models in my store, chasetheclub.com. Links will be in the description. Yes, this is real retro. It feels like they've revived models from the 70s. In fact, there's such a maximum vintage vibe on the dials. But the case is also interesting. Look, there's satin finishing on the side. So yes, we see polished edges, both on the case itself and the polished bezel. But the satin finishing, it's very practical, meaning you can easily place the watch on a table, for example, yes, and scratches won't really accumulate, unlike on polished edges. On the other hand, we have a small head and very tiny buttons. They operate the chronograph and set the alarm, but they're really uncomfortable to press. I've already tried doing this, and if you're buying this watch for sports activities, meaning you need to time things constantly, then this is probably not the best option. But still, I think there's also a retro feel to it. After all, watches used to have smaller dimensions, particularly the buttons weren't as large as they are now, for example. The black version here has a coating that completely covers both the bracelet and the case. The case back is still stainless steel, with information about the manufacturer and also about its Japanese origin, made in Japan. Yes, these are models specifically produced for the Japanese domestic market. And it has water resistance of 10 atmospheres or 100 meters, which is nice, of course. You can even swim with it. Mineral crystal, significantly protruding above the bezel level, as you can see, but it's flat, not domed. But under the crystal, we're greeted by that beautiful retro dial. In the black version, it has a blue tone, with the central part being light blue, while the top and bottom are dark blue. This is a reference to the horizon separating sky and water and delving into history. It's worth acknowledging that the brand had many different models where the central part was highlighted, both horizontally and vertically. And of course, the designers drew inspiration when producing the new series. If we look closer here, we'll see indices that aren't quite typical for modern times, also thick in retro style, but with more contemporary subdials. Here's a technical vertical font, immediately 3 subdials, where actually the solar battery is located. And at the top we have the chronograph minutes. The seconds are actually counted by the thin central hand. The seconds of our regular current time are on the sub-dial around 9 o'clock, and at the bottom is the alarm. There's also a date window. Overall, the dial is maximally packed. By the way, the chronograph also has a split function. So the split function works this way. It's a time cutoff, but time continues to be measured. There's also a tachymeter scale on the inner bezel. And as you understand, it measures time intervals up to 60 minutes plus accuracy of 1/5, meaning the second hand moves in small steps. Although unfortunately, there are no 1/5 markings. But in any case, stopping is done with the upper button, final reset with the lower button. Yes, the buttons are a bit small, but that's okay. Let's move on to the version. Oh, I don't even know what to call her. Marsh green, olive, pistachio. Overall, an extremely pleasant light, yellow-green shade. And it perfectly complements the gold hands, indices, and the hands on the subdials are also gold-plated. By the way, in addition to the chronograph, as I already mentioned, there's also an alarm. Right now, the hands are duplicating the current time. Setting the alarm is extremely simple. We pull out the crown, but first you need to unscrew it. It's also screwed down on top of everything else, even though it has 10 atmospheres of water resistance, which seems excessive. We've unscrewed it, pulled it out to the first position, and now we're setting the alarm time using the bottom button. Let's set it for about 3 minutes from now. we'll just about hear how it sounds. And then we pull out, there we already changed the position of the hands. It's worth acknowledging that the mechanism is called KSA00, but essentially, as I understand it, it's Seiko's V172, meaning a solar battery, a 60-minute chronograph with 1/5 second precision. And here's the alarm, plus the presence of a calendar is also quite pleasing. While we wait for the alarm signal, let's see how the time is set here, especially the date. So we pull out to the first position where we were setting the alarm, and in this same first position we also change the date clockwise. And pulling further to the last position, we actually move the hands almost exactly at 12. The date changes and the hour hand sits perfectly. Look, it doesn't overlap the date window. From a distance, the hands might seem thin, but in reality, the readability is still quite good. At least here on the dark dial, we can perfectly see the hands. What do we have here? Here, the readability of the hands is probably a bit worse. On this yellow-green background, the gold hands get a little lost, but nevertheless, you can still read the time. So our alarm has started ringing. Let me bring it closer to the microphone. Well, let's say it's a beeping sound, maybe not the most pleasant, but I think you'll definitely wake up from it. Luminous material on the indices and hands. Good readability in the dark. Everything is perfectly visible. Oh, how well the model fits. Just look, black with blue. Great. And even on a bare wrist, I think they'll look excellent here. We have small dimensions. Case height is 47 millimeters. Diameter 42 millimeters. Thickness 11.7 millimeters. This size is just right for small and medium wrists. 22 millimeters, we have a fairly wide bracelet. It's steel. Well, basically the bracelet doesn't stand out in any way. A simple bracelet, branded clasp, fits wrists up to 21 centimeters. Total weight 130 grams. Medium, I wouldn't say the watch is heavy. Basically, it doesn't weigh down your hand. I just tried both models on my wrist and realized that this yellow-green model has more of a retro shade, contains more of a retro mood, and it's more for the soul. This version is for those who like something like this. The blue-black watch, I think, is a more successful combination with modern clothes, for example, shirts or sweaters. Well, here it is. This is, of course, a special case, but it also looks pretty good on a bare wrist. Yes, indeed, compared to the current model lineup of the Orient brand, these models look like a breath of fresh air. This is the kind of truly retro style that modern watches from this Japanese brand are lacking, in my opinion. And precisely these options are what was missing. A beautiful, incredibly gorgeous horizon standing out with colors. I don't even know which one I like more. I would probably go with the black and blue version as it fits better with modern trends. If we're talking about a truly retro option, that's not really my style, and the yellow-green ones are definitely that way, but they still have plenty of modern features as well. It's a solar-powered mechanism with a chronograph, with an alarm ultimately, and with a calendar, plus the 100-meter water resistance is definitely a plus. And in general, the finishing and case are interesting. Again, the satin finishing. This is what we celebrate. Overall, they've done a great job. Yes, regarding the downsides, perhaps the small size of the watch head, especially the buttons, which aren't very comfortable to press. Nevertheless, our store has received chronographs from the Japanese market, various color options, at nice prices. So if you like this design, plus you were looking for Japanese origin, then this is an excellent option. At the end, I would like to know your opinion. Which of the models did you like more? Be sure to write about it in the comments. And if you liked this video, then give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That's all. Goodbye, everyone.